Saltaire White Christmas.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Imagine it's Christmas. I know it's fucking, June now, 2nd of June. It's the Civil Jubilee, long weekend, and I thought this has got to be done because it's just sitting in my fridge doing nothing, and I've been putting it off and putting it off. So here it is. This is a Christmas beer. It looks like a blonde ale from what I can gather. But it's from the Saltaire Brewery. And they're based up in the People's Republic of Yorkshire. And I'm looking at this because I'm looking at the sell-by date to see if it's gone out of date yet. And there is no sell-by date on it. So who knows? I don't know what the fuck this is going to taste like. But it came from the House of Trembling Madness. It was in their Christmas hamper. And to be honest, most of that was a pile of shit. There was one standout beer, and that was the C84 or Yorkshire Brewery Christmas Santa's Tipple, I should say. And they had the inspired idea of putting star anise in the beer, which is, if you're not familiar with star anise, it's used quite a lot in Asian cooking. When I say Asian, I mean Oriental style cooking, and it's got a very sort of aniseed stroke licorice type flavour. It's very nice. And they put it in the beer, and it really did make it taste nice. And it was a dark beer. It was very much in the style of Christmas. The star anise did give it like a spiciness to it, which I really did like, and it was quite Moorish. There was two in the hamper, and I devoured them. They were really good. I was really impressed with that. But everything else, I mean, for fuck's sake, Christmas IPAs and all that. Fuck off with that bullshit. Christmas IPAs. No. There is no such thing. There never was, and hopefully there never will be, because it's not a thing. Fucking IPAs around Christmas. Get to fuck. On a side note, I finally reached 1,000 subscribers, and I want to say thanks to each and every one of you, because that is fucking brilliant. I started this channel 2 years ago because I was drinking beer and I was fed up with... this is going to sound horrible, but I was fed up with some of the beer reviewers just praising craft beer. And I mean, I must admit, I did sort of jump on that bandwagon to start off with because I thought that was how you had to do it. And I have reviewed some craft beer on the channel. Some of it wasn't bad, I will say that. However, I gradually got more and more fed up with the way craft brewers and reviewers were sort of in each other's pockets. And what annoyed me was I was reviewing craft beer, and they do like 1 or 2 batches, and you'd never hear of it again. And I thought, what's the point of this? If I'm going to be reviewing this and somebody looks at it in a couple of years, this beer is not going to be around. So that's why I've sort of gone down the traditional route, and it's the route I'm going to stick with. I'm not knocking craft beer, and I always say this, you know, craft brewers, they have made an impact, a positive impact, I will say, on the brewing industry. And I think when an industry gets complacent, I mean, I always compare music to brewing and vice versa. And in the sort of mid-70s, I thought, and even in the early 60s with Black Sabbath when they came along and the heavy bands that came along, it gave the music industry a kick up the arse. Same with punk. Punk, even more so, it really did give the music industry a kick up the arse, and it made people think that you don't have to be a virtuoso musician to be in a band. And look what it spawned. I mean, it's created a monster, a very fucking good monster in my opinion. Craft beer has done the same. It's made people realise that you don't have to be a massive macro brewer to brew beer. You can be a small independent brewer, even a micro brewery, and produce good beer. So that is, in my opinion, a good thing. What I don't like about the craft brewing industry, or the craft brewing trend, if you want, is the overuse of American hops, the misuse of the term IPA and pale ale, and the price as well. Now, I get the price. I do see why they have to do that, because they don't get the big breaks that the bigger brewers get, and they have to pay top dollar for their ingredients, and they have bigger overheads as well. So I do get that. But, and I've always said, I don't mind paying for good beer, but I think if you're going to pump out that kind of beer for that kind of price, it just doesn't really sit right with me. Do you know what I mean? So if you like craft beer, if you like IPAs, if you like the American hops, fill your fucking boots, crack on. It's just not for me. I don't like the whole culture about it. But getting back to the channel, again, 1,000 subscribers. I got an email from YouTube saying, I didn't even know, I didn't look. I got an email from YouTube saying, oh, now you've got 1,000 subscribers. Have you thought about being monetized? No, I'm not going to fucking do that, because A, it means every time you watch one of my videos, you're going to have to watch a fucking Ponzi ad, Google ad. How annoying is that? I encourage you, well, I don't encourage you, but there is software out there that can block them ads, and that's as far as I'm going to go with it before I get bollocks by YouTube. But I'm not going to go down the route of trying to monetize it. And I've seen what happens when people make a living out of YouTube, and how they turn. I was looking at something the other day, I'm not sure whether you watched it or not, but there's a bit of a drama going on with some of the beer reviewers at the moment, and one beer reviewer has done an hour-long video of another very, very popular beer reviewer and calling him out on a lot of things, and it's just washing your dirty linen in public, and I'm not into that. That's not me. I just want to review beer, and that's it. I don't want to get involved in the politics of the scene. It's not for me. I've been asked by a couple of people if I want to jump on the calls. Not going to happen. A few people have asked me to do live streams on a Friday having a beer. Not going to happen. I've got nothing against talking to reviewers and all that. If you want to talk, put the comments in there. I'm not going to get pissed on camera, talk to people. When I've had a few beers, to be honest, I don't really want to get into a conversation with people, because I like to speak freely, and on the YouTube streams, they're sort of kept there for however long you want to keep them. And to be honest, it's nothing against the subscribers and all that. I really do appreciate the comments. If I don't respond to the comments immediately, it's because I do it in batches. It's haphazard, but believe me, I do read every single one of your comments, and I will get round to answering them all. It's just I'm the world's worst. I've got too much going on at the moment. Anyway, that's the bit about the channel. Again, another thank you for that. I really do appreciate every single one of you subscribers. I'm not a subscription whore. I'm not going to say you like the video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. And if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel. But I'm not going to go out my way begging for subscribers. It's not my style, to be honest. So there you go. And I'm not desperate for cash from YouTube either. So that's the way it's going to remain for the foreseeable future. Right, we've got that out of the way. Let's get back to this stuff. Right, Saltaire. They are a brewery from Yorkshire, as I said, and they do quite a number of beers. Now, I've tried one of their beers on the channel. I've reviewed it, and it's their Helles. And they said it was very much in the style of a Bavarian Helles. And believe me, it was not. It was lacking big time. And I'm just very wary of brewers who call their beers Helleses and not lagers. To me, if you're going to do that, you really have to be aping the stuff they do in Bavaria, or Germany at least. And I've yet to see one that does. Someone that's called it a Helles, and it does taste like a Bavarian Helles. It's never going to taste identical because of the water, the ingredients, and the location. Location. It does fucking make sense when it comes to brewing. And yeah, there you go. But this lot, they've been going since I think 2005, and they're quite popular around the West Yorkshire region. You see their beers quite a lot. Morrison's do some of their beers. They do a blonde ale of theirs, and they do the Helles as well, which is where I got it from. But to be honest, I'm just wary about brewers jumping on the bandwagon and doing the usual IPAs, and they do a lot of IPAs, double dry hopped IPAs, that kind of thing. And I just think, just brew a decent bitter, brew a decent barley wine, brew a decent lager, and you'll have my utmost respect. And there's Percy. Might as well let him in. There you go, mate. You're probably not going to like this. He's not trying to jump up, so he may probably know that this is dodge. Yeah, and it's a Christmas ale, and they're saying it's festive, citrus and spice. Now, spice, I'm very wary of adjuncts in beer. They have got their place, and some brewers do put adjuncts in the beer and they make it work. The Belgians get it right. They are the past masters at putting adjuncts into beer and making it work. If you've ever tried a Belgian triple or Belgian blonde, you'll know that you get the spice, the spicy esters from the yeast. You get cloves, you get coriander, you get the orange peel. I'm just talking about spice now. I'm talking about adjuncts, and you get the various other flavours that they put in there, and it tastes great. Even the invert sugar, they mostly get that spot on. British brewers, yes, they do get the adjuncts right occasionally. Well, not occasionally, most of the time. Occasionally, they get it fucking badly wrong. And I think a showcase of brewers getting it badly wrong with the adjuncts, certainly the spice, was that Christmas hamper. I really cannot get across to you how bad that Christmas hamper was. When I bought it, I thought it was going to be full of dark, strong, Old English beer, Old English style Christmas beer, like winter warmers, old ale, barley wine, that type of thing, which is traditional. That's what we drink in the UK, or used to drink in the UK around Christmas time. And now I think it's fucking pale ales and IPAs. Well, you can fuck off, because it never was, and hopefully never will be. Oh, I'm going to go into a rant, and I need to stop because I need to get this beer reviewed. Let's get it open. Let's see what's going on. Right, before we do, let's have a quick gander at what we've got here. It's a 500ml bottle. It's 4.8%. I think it's a pale ale, or some kind of blonde ale. White Christmas it's called. A refreshing, lightly hopped, pale infused with orange peel and coriander seeds for a deliciously festive twist. When the fuck did coriander become a Christmas thing? Belgian does it all year round. What are you talking about? Oh God, can I read that? I can't even fucking read it. Why would you put light blue on white? This is what I expected to read. Mr. Magoo. How am I supposed to read that? Do you know what I'm going to have to do? And this is fucking, not me, my eyesight ain't the greatest, but I'm going to have to take a photo of that on my phone and I'm going to have to read it out to you. Give me 1 second. And you know what? I've just taken a photo of it, and it's all in fucking French, or is that Italian or Spanish or Portuguese? I have no fucking clue. What are you doing? They're from Shipley in West Yorkshire. It contains barley, oats and wheat. These are the allergens. Oh, it contains rye as well. Malted rye. Okay. Rye, in case you don't know, is used in certain beers. There's fuck all on there that's in English, apart from White Christmas, just a bit I read out. But rye is used in beers. Hook Norton do a red rye ale, which is really nice. I had that on draft. I was at a funeral, believe it or not. Fucking 3 funerals this year already. Fucking hell. Mate's dropping off. It's only June as well. Fucking sad. But yeah, I had some of that red rye, and it was in a Wetherspoons, believe it or not. And yeah, it was quite nice. I had quite a few pints of that. Very impressed. But rye is a legitimate ingredient. Could it be classed as an adjunct? Yeah, I suppose it could, really. So this has got adjuncts galore. So let's get it home and let's see what they taste like. And believe me, if this tastes all right, I will let you know. I will not pull any punches if it's shit. You know me. But if it's all right, then I will tell you. Sad thing is, you won't be able to get it around this time unless there's some. What the fuck is that smell? My imagination. SB. Saltaire fucking brewing from Shipley and West fucking Yorkshire. Right, let's get this in the glass. I don't know how clean this glass is. It's probably pretty manky. It's been sat downstairs for a while. Right. Oh, that's fucking dirty glass again. Pale ale, almost like a Helles. Slight haze to it. No fucking floaters. What's the aroma? Fuck all. Not getting jack fucking shit out of that on the aroma. Maybe a little bit more in there. I can't get anything. Really trying here. There's vague hints of citrus and malt, but that's about it. Okay, if that's what you're going to do, I'm not saying beer that doesn't have a big aroma is bad, but usually when you've got a great aroma on a beer, usually the taste is good as well. But there it is, in ye olde glass. It's a golden ale, I'd say. You can see the haze on it, quite gassy. One finger whitehead. Let's get it down the hatch. Bottoms up. And you know what? That's vaguely pleasant, I have to say. That isn't too bad, actually. I'm not saying it's great, but it's not the fucking sink job that I thought it was going to be. It's quite malty, quite full-bodied. The coriander, minimal. I'm getting some of the orange. There's a breadiness to it, almost biscuit-like taste. But I think there is a vague hint of Cascade hop in there. And Cascade hop really is not my favourite style of hop. I'm getting that cascadey style. I don't know what it is. It's almost like a tannin style flavour. But it ain't bad. I have to say, it really isn't the worst beer in the world. Quite nice. Not much of a finish, but there's quite a lot going on the palate. You've got like a biscuit malt, which is quite reasonably big. Full-bodied, definitely. I will say that. Hints of orange on there, which is quite nice. And quite refreshing. I mean, this is cold. It's come out of the fridge. And it's very much in keeping with what I would think would be a summer golden ale. Not a Christmas beer at all. Not the worst beer in the world, I have to say. I can't really find fault with it. It's not bowling me over. It hasn't got masses of flavour on the finish. It's got a reasonable amount of flavour on the palate. But I can't detect any nasties in there. It's, as I say, vaguely refreshing. Nice and full-bodied. And, yeah, it's a reasonable golden ale, which is unusual because golden ale is, you know, it's, in my opinion, it's a very, very hit and miss style of English beer. Yeah, it isn't bad. Saltaire Brewing, I take it all back. I was prepared for a rant. I'd put this off for ages, thinking this is going to be disgusting. And the reason is, I'm not going to lie to you, is because of all the other shit that was in that Christmas hamper. The one that really stood out was is it Ilkley Brewery? And I think it was an ex-brewmaster from Brewdog who's running the Ilkley Brewery. And we stayed in Ilkley, me and the missus, when we went up to York one year. And that's all they had. That was the only ale they had in the hotel. And they're not a good brewer, mate. Really ain't. I don't know what they're like on cask, but the bottles are fucking rubbish. And I tried 2 of them. They had a golden ale, and I don't know what the other one was. The other one might have been an IPA, but it was fucking horrible. And then they had that in that Christmas hamper, this Christmas beer. And I don't know what she'd done. Well, it is a woman, and again, I've said this before, every time I do talk about that, because it was an exceptionally shit beer. She is a woman, of course. Fucking hell. It's a female brewmaster. And as I keep saying, I've got nothing against women in brewing. Some people have. Believe it or not, apparently the brewing industry is very sexist and women should know the fucking blast and all that. I fucking hate all that bollocks. I don't agree with that at all. But she'd obviously thought, this needs to be spicy. And it tasted like she'd got a whole load of white pepper and just thrown it into the fucking mash. Oh, it was fucking horrible. That went straight down the sink. Now, I don't know whether they've upped their game but I've always said, if you really have a care about what you're brewing and you're tasting it from a bottle and you think that's the best you can do, and then you think, yeah, fine, fuck it, just throw it out, people will buy it. You've either A, lost interest and you've got no passion for brewing, or B, you just don't care and money is your god. Either way, for the consumer, that's bad news. But getting back to this lot, this isn't bad. Yeah, normally on golden ales, it tastes reasonably on the palate, but then on the finish you get that horrible astringent bitterness, like a tannin, horrible bitterness that, I don't know, it comes from maybe the bittering hop that they've used, or if they put Cascade hops in there. There's a little hint of Cascade on that, but it isn't big. The malt is bigger on this, and I like that, and it really does make for a pleasant drink. It's certainly not the best golden ale that I've tried, and that Jubilee golden ale, one subscriber said he didn't think it was much and intimated that it may have been a rebadged golden ale from St Peter's. If it is, then that's not a bad thing, because St Peter's are a good brewer. If they've rebadged either the Farmer's Flagon, which is one of theirs, or I think it's in the style of a saison, but it's a golden ale. It's an old farmer's ale, and that is really nice. That's an exceptionally good beer. And the St Peter's Golden Ale, which is it Gatekeeper, I think it's called. That's another really good golden ale. And if they've rebadged that, then yeah, why not? I mean, for the Jubilee. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's this thing here. That stuff. I'll give that a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed that. That was fantastic, and it had quite a lot going for it that you don't see in a lot of ales. This isn't as good. There's the haze there if you're looking to see what it's like. This isn't as good, but it ain't the worst in the world. And the more it warms up, the more pronounced that orange is coming along. Now, from the description, when they said it was a spicy ale, spicy citrus, and I read on the back they had the orange peel, I thought it was going to be reminiscent of a Belgian beer of some ilk, but it isn't. That is a golden ale, a very nice golden ale, I have to say. Not bad at all. Well done, Saltaire. You've redeemed yourself a little bit. So, what is the verdict on Saltaire White Christmas? Well, it's June and I'm drinking a supposed Christmas beer. It ain't. It ain't a fucking Christmas beer. That is a summer beer. That's a summer drink, a summer golden ale. And not a bad summer golden ale as well. Again, I'm wondering, I've just been talking about rebadged beers, whether they just thought, fuck it, we'll rebadge a golden ale for Christmas. If you have, then if it's a good beer, I don't really have a problem with it being rebadged. But there's not much you can say about that. Maybe budget constraints or whatever have made you do that. But whatever it is, this isn't a bad beer. And I had a bit of a downer on Saltaire because, as I say, I tried their Hellas. You can look at that up in the channel if you want to review or watch the review of that. But that sort of put me off them a little bit. And when I look in Morrison's, they have their golden ale. I don't know why the fuck they do that. Golden, and I see this a lot in supermarkets. Good brewers, traditional brewers, they have, of all the beers they could have had, the good beers that they do, they'll always go for their golden ale. I mean, if you go and walk down that Morrison's aisle now, I don't know whether I'll get fucking nicked or pulled aside, but I should get my mobile phone out and show you exactly what's available at my local Morrison's. But it's a lot of golden ale from good brewers, which annoys me slightly because, I mean, this is just a personal thing, but there could be a hell of a lot better beer on a shelf from them brewers, and if you didn't pick the golden ale. But yeah, I should just walk down the local Morrison's and show you what's available, and I've reviewed almost all of them. But there you go. Anyway, I'm going off on a fucking tangent again. Anyway, this isn't bad. It's certainly not the best golden ale, but a style that is very, very hit and miss. They've sort of got it right, I think. So, because of that, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. A solid 7 out of 10. And I was prepared for a rant, and I was prepared for it to go down the sink, but I'm going to finish that, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm probably not going to buy this next year, or this year, Christmas this year, if this is still a thing, but because I don't believe light beer is a tradition. And you know me and my tradition, I just, after what I said about the reviews and the craft beer earlier, I like my tradition. I think it's, fads come and go. I think tradition is forever, really. It will never go out of fashion, I don't think, anyway. But there you go. 7 out of 10, you're not going to be able to get it. But if you do, and you like golden ale, then fill your fucking boots. And this is now June, it's the Jubilee, Queen's Jubilee, 2nd of June, 2022. And I'm drinking a Christmas beer. Fucking anarchy in the UK. And remember, beer is working class champagne.